Hi, everybody. Welcome to From the Cheap Seats. We're a little later in the week than normal, but we've had some issues. Plus, Billy was on assignment. You took care of that assignment, Bill?
Oh, yes, sir. All
Yes,
good to
sir. You
go.
got some research you did, and we're glad you did it. Uh, so, welcome here to From the Cheap Seats here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcast. Before we start, Bill, let's mention our sponsor. We've got Vineland Realty Corporation, my friend Dennis Ingraldi, at 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland for all your residential and property needs. If you see me look away once in a while, I'm watching the Big 12 championship here on one of the plethora of computer monitors. And Bill and I both, Bill actually watched it intently, so he'll give a report on the USA's World Cup venture this morning. And but we want to thank Dennis for sponsoring us here at Public John, all the Public John media events, including here from the Cheap Seats, which is pretty much where we are this morning, Bill. You can get a hold of Dennis and his folks down there. 856-690-9482 is their phone number, or go visit them at 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey for all your residential and business property needs, whether you want to rent something out, rent a place, rent a business or facility, a building, or if you want to buy or sell some real estate, let Dennis and the folks know. Again, it's Vineland Realty Corporation, 856-690-9482, or you can go in and just pop in the office and say hello and tell them the Public John sent you at 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey. Thank Dennis for all his support and everything. We got a couple quick things to mention, and then we will get into some USA soccer news, and of course we'll make our NFL picks with injury updates up to the minute. But first, Bill, before we get into all that, there were a couple of baseball signings last couple of days since I was on Thursday. One of them involves the hometown team, I guess, for the South Jersey area, which would be the Philadelphia Phillies. Zach Eflin, Zaf Eklund. See, did it again. Zach Eflin, who would normally be the number 3 or 4 starter for the Phillies, has signed with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yep.
3 years, $40 million.
That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad if you're him, huh? Because
I tell you, I think that might be a discount with pitchers these days. I don't know.
the way you're looking at some of these, wow. Some of
It's
these are
unbelievable.
expensive as heck, aren't they? Wow. Makes me wish I'd had some Tommy John surgery just to have
Yeah.
it, because your arm gets stronger. And maybe, just maybe, I'd be, no, I would never have been. No, not a pitcher.
Yeah.
I just wasn't. No. Location wasn't bad, but the batters liked the location when they were done with the pitch, because it was gone.
Oh,
My
gone.
location was deep
See ya.
left field. See ya. I like that
The
location.
ball was in the cheap seats.
The ball was definitely hit into the cheap seats if I was pitching. My fastball was straight as an arrow. Actually, I had somebody tell me that caught me one time. I was playing for in Ocean City for like an independent baseball league thing,
Yeah.
over 30 league, and the one guy catching me, it was kind of an emergency. It was a double hitter, second game of a double hitter, and we only had 3 pitchers because you only play once a week. 90 plus degrees, and one guy had pitched almost a full game the first game, so he's unavailable. One of them just tired out after 6 innings, and then the reliever tired out, so I came in the bottom of the 8th with 2 guys on, 1 out, and I'd never pitched, except sandlot stuff. And they're asking, can you? I said, well, I could try, but I've never, and I was honest. They went, okay. I mean, I did some BP for us, So I guess they said, well, Johnny's got the best shot. Johnny didn't have a shot as far as I was concerned, but I got out of it. Walked 2 guys, and then in the 8th to lead off, and got out of it. No runs. and did the same thing in the ninth. And we actually still won the game. I don't know how the hell I did that, but I'm like,
Yeah.
that's it. I'm done.
You
But
got
the
the
catcher
save
said,
then. I guess you
yeah,
got the
I
save.
did.
Yeah.
I did get a save. And the catcher's like, Johnny, your fastball has a tail to it back into the right-hand batters. Are you trying to do that? And I went, yeah, sure, as far as you know. I had no idea. And I did have a breaking ball, but I mean, they had to know it was coming. It
Yeah.
wasn't like I know how to hide up. You know, you throw it like this, you know, it's going to be a curveball. And I wasn't hiding it. I had no idea how to do all that.
Right.
But somehow got out of it. And it wasn't strikeouts. It was like there was one strikeout, I think, and a couple jam jobs. But I think I was so slow that they probably got ahead of the swing
Oh yeah, they look like
and
it
popped
was like
them
a
up.
beach ball coming in there.
Yeah,
That's
it looked
what it
like,
is.
yeah, I'm coming in here. They overswung, pop up. One guy, I swear to God, and you know me, I'm talking to the hitter. Yeah, come on, you can hit this thing. Come on, I'm throwing it right down the middle for you. Come on, I'm talking trash. And I swear to God, one guy, I think he went 0 for 7 for the double hitter, and he popped up to first base in foul territory. And I said, I don't think that's got the distance. Everybody's like, oh my God, Johnny. Are you ever quiet? No,
No.
not when I'm playing baseball. I'm having fun. No, I'm not. You asked me to play. I didn't come to you. So, but yeah, I as a pitcher. But man, you're right. These guys are getting some serious money. I mean, baseball these guys are getting money anyway. But man, Bill.
Yeah.
And then of course you had Jacob DeGrom, who what did he get? Let's go back and look. Where
What was
is
it?
it? I'm
4
trying to.
year? 4?
I think
4
4
years?
years, 185
80,
million. Does that
something like
sound
that.
right?
Yeah.
Here it is. To the Texas Rangers. I'm trying to find it here. Rangers signed DeGrom 5 years.
Okay.
5 years, 185 million
So
macaronis.
like
Woo!
37 mil a year.
A year, yeah. And I think there's a lot of it's guaranteed, I'm sure. If you're DeGrom's agent, you don't want anything. Sources are bringing the most talented pitcher in baseball. Of course, they're always going to say that. He's 34, so this should be his last contract.
Yeah. He'll
You
be
know,
done after.
He'll be done. Don't be surprised if in a couple of years they decide to just extend it out. So like a Bobby Bonilla $1 million a year thing.
Right.
You know, I would. Because
Yeah.
of taxes, if nothing else. So yep, DeGrom is signed, and couple of big college football news stories. One, don't be surprised if after this weekend, Deion Sanders is named the head coach of Colorado University. As the only reason they're waiting is he is coaching today for his team, Jackson State, against Southern for the SWAC championship game. But they think after this game, he will be leaving the SWAC conference and going to the Big 12, where he will coach the Colorado Buffaloes.
Nice.
And so I guess good for him. Kind of stinks if you're Jackson State. But now with the transfer portal, if you like Deion that much, you can just go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened with USC. Lincoln Riley went from Oklahoma to USC and took 19 guys with him. 19. That's a big number. But it wasn't big enough, Bill, because USC last night, who was ranked 4th in the college football playoff poll, keyword is was, because they had a body part handed to them last night by Utah, who was the only team that beat them during the regular season. And last night they beat them badly. I think the final was 47-24.
Wow.
It was bad. The first quarter was all USC, and then after that, it was all Utah. You had the Heisman Trophy leading candidate there, who may now be the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, it sucks, but you know.
Well, it is what it is. You got to deliver in those games. He was getting a beating.
Right.
I mean, especially once he got hurt a little bit earlier in the game, and by the second half rolled around, he couldn't move. And that's part of his game, as everybody was saying. He's like a Mahomes or a Josh Allen. He's a mobile quarterback. He got dinged up, and you could see he could barely walk around by the end of the game. They finally pulled him with about 1 minute left. The game was way out of hand. He probably should have been pulled sooner than that for his health, but I think they were looking to see what the deal was with. Sorry, I'm distracted. First down, TCU, first and goal at the 1. So they're not wasting any time. I think he should have been pulled for that. But Heisman Trophy, you probably wanted him to put some more numbers up or make a couple nice plays. But if you're his coach, but no, I don't think so.
Right.
He did. It was get him out of there. So that is about everything I have, Bill. Unless you have something else. Oh, well, let us know about the World Cup, the USA Today newspaper. They probably played like newspapers.
They were done today.
They were done today.
Put it that way.
Netherlands and the USA in World Cup soccer this morning. And Bill, you can probably give us more info on that.
Yeah. I mean, actually, it was a better game than what the final score was. As a matter of fact, the first 2 or 3 minutes of the game, USA should have scored, but the goalie made a nice save on Christian Pulisic. And then I think about 15 minutes later, and then Netherlands scored. So it was 1-0, and then they scored their second goal with a minute left in extra time in the first half. So they were down 2-0 at half, but they didn't give up, and they came back. And it was 2-1. One of the subs strikers came in right, and he scored to make it 2-1. And then I think about 10 minutes later, and then it was 3-1, and then it was all she wrote for USA.
I saw the last few minutes. USA put on a hurried offense and really looked like for a couple minutes they might get a goal back and have a shot to tie, but they just couldn't put the old hockey phrase. They couldn't put the biscuit in the basket.
No, I mean they outpossessed Netherlands. They outshot the Netherlands, but it's just how it goes. The Netherlands is a better team, no doubt. But USA, valiant effort.
Hey, give them credit. They got to the round of 16, which was probably better than most people expected. Obviously, Pulisic needs more help from other people that can score, or at least get some of the focus off him. TCU just scored a touchdown, take a 6-0 lead on Kansas State. TCU ranked number 3 in the country in the college football poll. The only thing I like about these kinds of things is, you know me, I like chaos. Yes. I like upsets. I like especially this college football thing to be thrown all out. So if TCU somehow lost, and I think he missed the extra point. Let's see. No, he just snuck it inside that break. 7-0. Then you got to wonder, Ohio State's probably in now because they were ranked 5th. USC will be bumped out. It'll be their second loss, and it was a bad one to a team they already lost to. So Iowa State would be 4th. There's a slim chance if TCU loses to K-State today that Alabama could sneak in as number 4. That's where I'm mixed because I'm tired of seeing Ohio State and Alabama in this thing.
Right.
The only thing that's a saving grace is Clemson's not in. I'm okay with that.
Right.
Because it's usually Clemson and Alabama, and I'm like, oh, somebody shoot me. To be honest, I didn't watch the games those last couple of years, because it's always Alabama, Clemson. Georgia. Yeah. So I was happy when Georgia got in, and so now it's, like I said, Georgia, Michigan. At the moment, TCU, and then I'm sure Ohio State's going to get the 4th spot. So, but right now, TCU 7-0 over Kansas State. It's the first possession of the game, so we'll see what KSU does.
Right.
All right, Bill, are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay.
Week 13.
Oh, Boston, by the way, the Bruins in the NHL have won 13 straight home games, so they're still on a tear. Philadelphia Flyers the other day broke their losing streak against the Islanders, but they started a new one last night, so that's good. So they got a new one going. Like I told you, I mean, and it looked like it was working for a while, but I don't think it is. Just when your biggest signing is the coach,
right? Yeah,
you're not signing players. Chances are it's not going to work for you. So, but here we go. Let's go over our records for last week as we get ready to pick our NFL picks for this week. For week 13, of the National Football League. Last week, Bill, we were, where is it? Bueller, anyone? Bueller? Had it right here. We both started out ball of fire, and then the afternoon and evening games got us. And here we go. Okay. We were doing okay, and then we started getting whacked. I felt like a mafia guy. We started getting whacked. We still did pretty good. Straight, we were 11-5. Remember, no team had a bye last week, so all 16 games were played. 32 teams played because it was Thanksgiving, so everybody plays that Thanksgiving week. We were, I think we both. No, you were 11-5. I was 12-4. So with straight up picks with no spread, you are 89-73-1, 55%. So you're climbing up there, pal. I am still 93-69-1 at 57.4%. So you're still within reach of that. Against the spread, you were, looks like 8-8. Yes, you were 8-8. I was 9-7, so I only got one game on you. And we both, like I said, started out ball fire on the spread. I thought, man, we're going to crush it. And then the last two games were losses for us both. And so that makes it, you climbed up though a couple points. You're at 47.2, so you'll break the 50% mark pretty soon, I think. At 75-84-3. I am 83-76-3 at 52.2%. So we're both getting there. And that's because there were some upsets last week that Vegas lost on them too. So don't feel bad.
Right.
I mean, a couple of them were just freaking ridiculous. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, the Dallas Giants game, I lost on the spread. I think we both lost one game. I lost on the Tennessee game. On both. Yeah, Tennessee played like crap. Cincinnati just played really, really well.
Right.
The good game I took was Carolina over Denver. That kept me in the running. That was that last minute change I made.
Yeah, no, that was good. Yeah.
That was a good one. Let me see. We both the Chargers Arizona game. That killed us. That was ridiculous. I don't know what happened there. Well, I know what happened. The Chargers are playing hurt. They really are. And of course, the Seattle game against the Raiders, that laid an egg. That was everybody lost on that one too. We both held on with the Chiefs and the Rams. Even though the spread was 15.5, we both rode the Chiefs into the sunset and won it. Woohoo!
Yeah, by half a point, I believe.
Yeah, it was. It was exactly half a point. You're right. Niners. Oh, you took New Orleans in the spread. That cost you.
Yeah. And actually, they had a shot of winning that game.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Let
It was a
alone
low-scoring
covering.
affair, but they just New Orleans.
Twice they were inside the 10 and couldn't score.
Yeah. Then Green Bay and Philly. You actually went with Philly across the board. I thought Green Bay would stay within reach, but they didn't. Philly pulled away later. And then Indy and Pittsburgh, we both took Indy across the board, and they didn't play well, and Pittsburgh won. So
right.
We got, that's where we started getting beat the last couple of games, or I did anyway. So, but we're hanging in there. Our totals now, I just gave them to you as well. So we're ready to venture into another unknown week and see what we have here in the National Football League. Could be pretty interesting. Game one, we already went through and we picked it, and we were both right. We rode Buffalo into the sunset as the Bills beat New England handily. I think New England's got some issues, if we didn't know it, because the week before they looked good, but or good enough anyway against Minnesota. Even though they didn't win, they played very well. and the week before they had nipped the Jets. But the defense looks pretty good, but they have no offense.
Yeah, they just have running the ball.
Stevenson, that's it. They don't have anything really. So we both won that one pretty handily. Next, and we'll try to look at injuries as we go for each game, if there are any that are relevant. Denver against Baltimore. I know Lamar Jackson is questionable with an ankle, and with Denver, it appears that Judy, the wide receiver, is questionable, but he played last week on the same ankle, so I think he's going to play. And they haven't said that Lamar is out or anything like that, so Jackson will probably play too. The spread is 8 points. It's in Baltimore. They are picked.
Okay, because I just looked. It was 9.5.
Oh, did it change again?
Yeah.
It was 7 when I first looked. It went to 8. You know what? I will.
DraftKings 9.5.
I will put DraftKings in here and see what it says now. I did not look this morning because I had to go somewhere, and then and they're out of, and of course now we've moved them around and out of sequence. So first game we're looking at is Denver, Baltimore. Where are you? Here it is. Yeah, it's 9.5. So change that to 9.5 for Baltimore. I took Baltimore across the board because Denver has, let's just say, bupkis. Nothing.
Yeah, they are so puzzling. I
awful.
mean, I don't know if it's a play calling or what, but
I don't
I mean,
know.
you would think that Russell Wilson would be comfortable now in that offense, but they
Yeah,
just
but Richard Sherman a couple weeks ago on Thursday Night Football when Denver played made a pretty good point when he said he doesn't think it's the right offense for Russell Wilson. There's not too many RPOs, no things to roll out, which he could do in Seattle, it seemed like. So it's one of those things where you should tailor your offense to the talent you have, not make your talent learn your offense.
yeah.
If a guy's strength is to be able to be mobile and run pass option kind of offense, that's what you got to do more of. And I don't see that happening. I see a lot of check downs, and I don't think guys are getting open deep. I mean, even the ones that are playing, like Judy's good and Sutton's good, but they're kind of hobbled up. So if they can't get open, he's got nobody to really throw to.
Yeah, and I noticed that too. They don't throw the ball deep as much. So.
No, and their backs aren't good. I mean, let's face it, they cut Melvin Gordon because he can't hold the football.
Right.
He's got a bad case of fumbleitis. They cut him. I don't think he's been signed anywhere. People were looking at him.
Somebody signed him on.
Did somebody sign him on a practice squad?
Actually, the Chiefs signed him.
Oh, did they? I'll have to double check on that.
Yeah, the Chiefs signed him.
I know they were looking, but I
squad.
thought they weren't going to touch him because of his fumbling issues. But well, you know what it is. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out for the Chiefs.
Right.
So he would be backing up. Pacheco's going to be the starter there, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's on the practice squad or if he's actually going to be active. I guess we'll have to double check that.
Right. But with that said, I'll take Baltimore across the board also.
Okay. Because it's 9.5, I'm half considering, but I don't think so. I think I'm going to keep them across the board.
Yeah, I mean, I thought
because Denver
too,
has no offense. They can't do any offense. Don't get me wrong. It's Baltimore's defense isn't great.
Right.
But I think you're right. Even though it's 9.5 now, I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with Baltimore.
Yeah, I got burned by them too many times. And
yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to say my ass is burnt, but I got to wear asbestos under my pants for Christ's sake. I'm thinking of Denver. Tennessee and Philadelphia. The spread is now, as it was the other day, it's still at 4.5.
Yeah, that's what I got, 4.5.
So I think this could be a tough game. And it wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee wins it. Philly has trouble stopping the run.
Mm-hmm.
So I have here somehow that Philly will win it, but Tennessee will cover. because it's 4.5. If it was a field goal or less, I would probably still take Philly across the board.
Right.
But because it's 4.5, the only thing Tennessee doesn't really have, they've got the one wide receiver who's getting a little better.
Right.
It's
The
pretty
rookie
good.
receiver Burks.
Yeah, the rookie Burks. Other than that, they don't really have a lot. But Philly's secondary is hurt without Johnson because he's out with a lacerated kidney.
Yeah.
So I think that hurts them a little bit. Well, it's going to hurt him a lot. He's one of the best in the league right now. But if you don't have receivers that can get open, then do you really have a threat?
Right.
You know, does your secondary have to be great? Maybe not. I know they signed Sue and is it Johnson that are up front to
Right.
replace guys that are hurt. They did okay last week. They did get a sack.
Right.
But you didn't sign them to get sacks. They're
No.
interior guys. You signed them to help stop the run, which they held the guy in check. But can they do that with Derrick Henry? I mean, he is a beast.
Yeah.
So that being said, I still took Philly, but like I said, I took Tennessee to cover, at least for now.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a different. I'm going to take Tennessee across the board. I don't think they can stop. I don't think they can stop Henry.
Yeah, that's actually my concern. You're right.
And the
If
Eagles,
they lose, I think that'll be it.
yeah, the Eagles beat Green Bay, but Green Bay put points, 20
They
some
did put
points, I
points on the
guess.
board.
So,
I mean, and they kept Aaron Jones kind of in check, but come to find out, it's because he was hobbled. He got big dinged up. So, for Philly, let's see. Devontae Smith playing with a groin injury. Pascal with a groin injury. They're both considered questionable. Well, that could hurt them. And CS Johnson, CG Johnson, I'm sorry, the safety, like we said, is out with a lacerated kidney. For Tennessee, they have, let me see if they have anybody out. Oh, right. We talk about Simmons. They're got to be all pro linemen, defensive end. If he's out, that could be a problem for Tennessee. Right now, he's considered questionable with an ankle injury. So that could open holes for the Phillies. The Eagles are going to try and run. I mean, you know, if Tennessee has a weakness, if it's a running game, that could lead to a Philly win and open up other stuff too, especially if Hurts can start running like he did last week in the first half. So, but I agree with you. I think Philly might win though, but Tennessee will probably cover. Cleveland, Houston. Story out of there is it's in Houston. It is Deshaun Watson's first game back, the former Houston Texan, who of course off season was all kinds of issues for the last 2 seasons, really, if you think about it. Hasn't played in over 700 games, which is 700 days, which is equivalent of pretty much both seasons until now. Nobody knows how good he's going to be. I think that's why Cleveland and Watson both said, well, we want him to come back against Houston because Houston is, as they say in Spain, muy malo. Very bad.
Yeah.
Very, very bad. I think it's still the backup, the original backup quarterback. I think they benched Davis Mills. Houston has very little. Well, they have the one running back who looks pretty good, but
Yeah, the rookie Pierce. Yeah.
Pierce. But if you know that's all they got, you're going to key in on that. The spread is only 7. Last I knew it was 7. Let's double check.
8.
It's actually went up to 8 now.
8.
Yes. So since it is at 8, that means absolutely no difference to me. I think Cleveland is just going to run all over Houston. I took
sure.
Cleveland across the board.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. Cleveland will win the game.
Okay.
But Watson hasn't played in 3 years.
Yeah, really.
3 years.
Yeah.
I don't think he's proven anything.
Oh,
and
Kansas
and
State has
and
tied the score. Sorry.
and playing against Houston, who could be
Hmm.
really up for this game. So I'll
Yeah.
take Cleveland to win the game, but I'll take the 8 points.
Okay. Houston to cover. And again, because it's 8 points, I could see the logic in that pick too. Anything above 4 or 5 points in the NFL is, to me, always risky.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I understand your pick, and you never know. I could do a last minute switcheroo, but I don't think so. Me personally. Miami and the Jets in Miami.
No,
Or no,
Miami is
no,
not
it's not Miami. It's Minnesota. I apologize.
Minnesota. Yes,
And it is still at 3 points
3
in
points.
Minnesota.
Yes.
Yes.
And I tell you
So
what, I was real impressed with Mike White last week.
I was too. I was
300,
too.
300 yards passing, and
Yeah.
they had 3 touchdowns. So he looked really good.
Now
But
Carter, the running back for the Jets, is questionable with an ankle. From Minnesota, everybody of Maine that you would think is important playmaker wise is okay.
yeah,
So
um, yeah. I mean,
I
like I said, Jets looked pretty good last week, but I don't think against Minnesota that's going to happen again.
I think
And
you're right.
I think
Yep.
Minnesota's just going to put up too many points. And
Yeah, I took Minnesota across the board for that reason. I think the Jets are an up and coming team. I think they're on the right track. Their defense is great.
hmm
I just keep feeling like they need another playmaker. But you're right. I was impressed with Mike White, and wouldn't surprise me if he gets to finish out the season.
right.
Um, and that'll be interesting to see what they do with Zach Wilson. But I did the same thing. I took Minnesota across the board. Washington and the New York Giants, the G-Men in New Jersey. The G-Men
Underdogs
are underdogs by 2.
2. Yeah.
And the only person I see is the backup running back Brightwell is questionable due to an illness. So that was as of Thursday. So he could be ready to go. For the Commanders,
Yeah.
they
This is
have some guys banged up, but they're questionable. Gibson's banged up.
Gibson. Yes.
Logan Thomas is banged up with a ribs. And let's see. I think Chase Young is going to make his debut tomorrow.
Yeah, I believe so. He could have played last week, but
He
they
could
held
have,
him out.
yeah, but they held him out. I think he's going to play. This is a big divisional game, and I think he's going to play,
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of puzzling that New York is the underdogs, even though
even though they're at home. I mean, I
they're
know it's
they're at
only
home and
2, which is within
they're
that
actually ahead of them in the
3 point.
standings too. So I don't know.
No, you know what? I'm with it. I took the Commanders
Yeah, yeah, no
across the
doubt.
board.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah, no doubt.
I think everybody sees Taylor Heineke as a true leader of that team. And isn't that amazing? I mean,
Yeah, and
the guy
they're
keeps
running the
coming back.
ball. Yeah, they're running the ball well with Robinson. He had 100 yards
Yep,
last week.
Robinson is starting to take off, and you still
Yeah.
got Gibson too, even
hmm
unless he's banged up and can't play. But um, I think, and if Chase Young can come in and help the defense just a little bit,
Yep.
I think unless Barkley can have a good day to take the pressure off Daniel Jones,
hmm
to me, the Giants don't have the receivers where the Commanders do. You got McLaurin, you got Dotson. If Logan Thomas can play, that helps. Um, and your backs can catch it out of the backfield. The Giants have Barkley who can catch it out of the backfield.
Right.
Sterling Shepard back? I guess he's back, right? But he's not
Uh,
100%, I don't think.
yeah, I'm not sure if Sterling Shepard's back.
I think he was back last week.
Slayton's there.
Oh, Slayton is probably back. Yeah.
Yeah,
But they're not, I'm sorry, but
they're not a
McLaurin and
passing
Dotson,
team.
right? They're not a
So
passing team. So I like the Commanders in this one.
yeah,
Detroit and Jacksonville. This could be, in all honesty, I know because of their records, most people will not necessarily look at this as a good game. I think it could be a great game to watch. Let me see if I can find it here on DraftKings.
Jacksonville should be +1.
Jacksonville +1, and that's what I had here. So that did not change. Detroit
Yeah,
favored by 1 at home.
this is one of the coin flip games.
Yeah,
Like
it
you said,
really is.
it should be a good game.
I think it was going
Uh,
to be a good game.
I
Jacksonville, you got to love Doug Peterson. I mean, he went for it to win the game. It was either win or lose, basically.
yeah, no
Give him
doubt.
credit. And that's always him. That's always the way he's been.
Mhm.
So it's not like a surprise. And I kind of knew it when I was watching it on, I believe it was Red Zone. And I'm thinking, he's going to go for this.
Yeah,
And of course he did. And it was a really nice, well called out, executed play. And
yeah,
I think Trevor Lawrence showed something to some people last week. I mean, he took them down the field to win the game, touchdown and the 2-pointer.
yeah.
So they're coming. I really do believe that, but they're not there yet.
And
Same
the
with,
same,
but Detroit's in the
same with
same boat.
Detroit. Yeah,
They're
same boat.
coming, but they're
Yeah,
not there yet. It hurts me, but DeAndre Swift isn't getting as many carries because
yeah.
was it
I
Robinson? Is that his name? I
don't.
can't remember. He's
Williams is
Williams.
the
He's
goal line
getting
guy,
he's getting the
but
bulk of the carries. But then
I
when I
just don't
watch it,
understand.
I'm like, I can see it.
Yeah,
I mean, he's tearing it up too.
yeah,
So I just think Swift could touch the ball a little bit more, but he's not. I still have him, but I had to bench him because he's not getting the touches.
yeah.
So I I look at it and I look at it. Now Etienne's playing for Jacksonville. He's supposed to be back. It says
Okay.
questionable, but he is. I saw something this morning that said he is back and ready to play. So it looks like a tough game. I almost didn't want to pick it. Really. I mean, you're looking at, to me, Goff against Lawrence. I think two similar quarterbacks. Lawrence might be a touch more mobile, but most of the time they're drop back passers.
Right.
Running back, probably about even. Defense, Detroit in the last 5 weeks has picked it up so much in defense. I'm leaning toward Detroit. So I took Detroit for now across the board.
Yeah, I did the same. I think the home field is the major difference.
You're right. I think that's the determining factor. So got you down for Detroit as well. Green Bay, Chicago should be interesting. Aaron Rodgers for Green Bay. Let's see. He's questionable, of course, with rib and thumb. Of course, they don't mention thumb, but of course, thumb. It's been broken for weeks now. He's looking at playing. He did say if they sat him down and told him, we're going to sit you out so you don't get hurt anymore because we're not thinking that we're in this anymore, he would be amenable to that. He would listen to that conversation, he said. So that could make things a little interesting in Green Bay, because if he gets hurt any worse and Jordan Love comes in, people might start saying, you got to do with Aaron what you did with Favre when you brought Aaron in.
Right.
And let Jordan Love become the leader of the team. So that offseason is going to be interesting, but they've paid for 3 years of Aaron Rodgers. Unless you can find somebody to take on that salary, he's not going anywhere.
Right.
Wouldn't surprise me if Jordan Love, who I think is in his final year of that 4-year deal, doesn't get traded somewhere.
Right.
Because if you got Favre for 2 more years after this, Love isn't going to want to sit on the bench for
No, I don't blame him.
6 years total. No, and I don't blame him either. Aaron Jones for Green Bay is considered questionable with an ankle. Let's see. And that's about it there.
Fields is questionable with
Fields
Chicago.
is questionable for Chicago.
And Mooney's on the IR.
And Mooney got put on IR. Yep.
And Claypool, he might be questionable also.
It says questionable here.
Yeah, so they have no weapons.
They've got Fields.
Yeah,
and
Fields,
you got
You
Montgomery
got
and
Montgomery, and the tight end
and
Clement is pretty good, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Green
no,
Bay. And
no, I don't either. Give me just a
you know,
second. That's saying check with Bill on the status of the Bears running it. So there we go. So there, that's done. Yeah, Aaron Jones is, like we said, questionable, but
they got
but they
Dillon.
got
So
but they got Dillon, AJ
yeah,
Dillon. So I'm looking at an update. Oh, he should have caught it. He dropped it, and then he got hammered. 7-7. Kansas State has the ball now.
wow,
We're
good
in the
game.
second quarter. So good game. Which the first one was a good game. So I went Green Bay across the board. They just have more weapons. They
Right,
have
same.
Watson. They have Cobb. They still have, like you said, Dillon. Oh, we might be getting a targeting or something here.
They got a kid. The kid Watson's pretty good.
I like Watson. He's pretty good. So I took Green Bay across the board.
Me too.
Plus, Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears, as he likes to say.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they can run it, but I don't think they're going to be able to throw it because the receivers aren't going to get open. But Green Bay's defense isn't great.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I agree with you. I think it'll be more than enough for Chicago. Pittsburgh, Atlanta. Let's take a look at that. Is still 1 point. The Falcons are getting it, even though they're at home.
Pittsburgh's +1.
Yeah, even though it's in Atlanta. I like Kenny Pickett.
I figure you
The
would.
Pickens may be your next 1-2 duo.
Yeah.
I don't think it's targeting. He hit him with his shoulder, and it was in the shoulder. So we'll see what happens. Oh no, ruling on the field was targeting. TCU doesn't look happy. It was a hard hit, but we'll see. Might have been
Yeah.
defenseless receiver.
Yeah,
I'm taking
this game might be the lowest scoring
scoring
game
game
on
of the day.
the
This
day
might be a 13-10 game,
because
or even less.
Atlanta just likes the ball control and
Yep.
run the
And
ball.
run. That's all they got. Their best receiver is their tight end Pitts, who's now gone for the season. He just
He's
had
gone for the season.
knee
Yeah,
surgery. Yep.
but
So I'm with you on this. If Mariota can't run the ball much, then they're done. Or what's the kid's name? Their running back's pretty good. Atlanta.
Patterson and
Patterson's
Algier,
back too. Yeah.
Algier.
Algiers.
You got the rookie wide receiver Brandon London. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Atlanta in this one.
Okay.
I'll take the home team, and I
Here we
figured
go.
that'd be a difference because I thought you would take Pittsburgh.
And you are correct. I did take Pittsburgh across the board. So you even picked my pick.
Yep, my major
Man,
pick.
Bill, you doubled down on this. They call reversed. It's not targeting. Okay. I'm rooting for Kansas State, but I have to admit that was not targeting. That was just a good hit. So I did take Pittsburgh because I like Pickens to Pickens. Um, Benny Snell looked okay last week, and Najee Harris is questionable, so he may be back as well. That's enough of a running game. They got
I
Freiermuth.
believe Najee said he was playing. So
Yeah, and I like their tight end Freiermuth as well.
mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be Pittsburgh. Seattle and the Rams in Los Angeles. Let's take a look at the spread. Last I knew, and it still is 7 points.
+7
Seattle
for the
favored by 7. Stafford is out still. Cam Akers, I think, is questionable. And of course, they dumped Henderson.
Right.
So it is, and I think that's it.
Yeah, the Rams are.
Yeah, they're
They're
done.
toast.
Aaron Donald on the defensive line is out.
Right. Yeah, so they're toast. Seattle will win this one easily.
Yep, and that's how I have it. So yeah, Seattle across the board there. KC and Cincinnati. Man, this might be or should be the game of the day. Right now, let's take a look. The last I knew, the Chiefs were favored. It's 2 now. It was 1.5.
Yeah, it's 2.
Went up to 2. Probably that half a point is Mike Williams being out. But yeah. Oh no, what am I thinking? Wrong. Man, I'm thinking Chargers. Wow, way out. let's see. Cincinnati, Mixon, last I knew, was questionable. He was still in concussion protocol, and as of last night, had not cleared it.
Right.
Jamar Chase, however, is expected to play for Cincinnati. He's expected back. For Kansas City, they got a couple people out, I think. Well, I think Schuster Smith's supposed to be back. He was questionable, but I think he's coming back. It says illness now, so
Right.
I would hope he's back. McKinnon's questionable with a hamstring. Tony's still out with a hamstring. It says questionable, but they've said he's not going to play.
Right.
Other than that, this looks like a Mahomes versus Burrow affair. And man, especially since Burrow has Chase back, T. Higgins has been playing well. And Pirine for Mixon isn't a bad. It's not really a step down, I don't think.
No, not at all. So this is going to be a totally different. I'm going to go with the Bengals because I know you go.
I did go with Kansas City. You are correct, sir. But there is a chance. Well, see, the problem is it's 2 points. Again, if it was above 3, I would probably take the Bengals. But because it's at 2, it's one of those you either win it or you lose it kind of thing.
I'm just not Kansas City's defense just hasn't proven too much.
That is their they're not quite maybe as good as Cincinnati, though. Chris Jones is having a hell of a year for the Chiefs, and Bolden in the back is playing pretty well. But yeah, you got in between the linebackers, and I'm not sure they're great against the run. So
and the other thing is, I think the Bengals are smart, and they'll probably contain.
That's
Kelsey
the word I was using, Kelsey, and probably try to keep Mahomes
they'll
in the
let
pocket.
somebody else. They'll let somebody else beat them. I don't think
yeah.
They're gonna let
Make
Kelsey
it prove. Make you prove you can beat us. Make Schuster or Scantling.
Right.
Prove Valdez. Valdez Scantling prove that you can beat us with those guys.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I took the Chiefs. You took the Bengals. That's smart. Chargers and Vegas. In Vegas, let's see. The Chargers have Mike Williams. We've talked about it. Is out. Says questionable, but then this morning it went out there that he is out with an ankle injury, and it's probably the same ankle injury because he was only in for a little bit the last 2 games.
Right.
So he's out, and I think, but Keenan Allen stepped up last week, and I think the Chargers have just a little bit too much for Vegas. Vegas offense is pretty good. The only way Vegas will win is if they get another great outing from Josh Jacobs, who's questionable.
He's questionable, and that's the main thing.
And that's the main thing.
But I think you got to be a little bit more healthier.
Yeah, he's supposedly got a calf injury, which he may very well have.
So, but I'll take the Chargers across the board. Plus, I'll take the +2.
Okay, so I did as well. It is at 2 now. It was originally at 1, but I did the same thing, and I'm going to keep it at that. I'm not going to change it. That 1 to 2 points isn't going to make a big enough difference.
Right.
Let's see. Miami, San Francisco in Santa Clara. That is a 4-point spread. Let me double check it though and see if it's changed. Where did you go? Is trying to find it. Bueller, here it is. Oh, it's Chargers Raiders. We just did that one. Where are you? Here it is. 4. It is 4 points still. So
this is going to be my upset special.
Ooh, Bills upset special.
I like the offense of Miami. San Francisco is a little more balanced, but they got some injuries, and they're not putting up the points that Miami's putting up.
Yeah, they don't put up that many points. San Francisco doesn't. I mean, last week against New Orleans, was it 19 to nothing or 13? Oh, it was only 13, right? Yeah,
13-0, I think it was.
Yeah. But New Orleans, I think, has a better defense than Miami. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
Their
no
offense
doubt.
isn't very good. I think Miami's reverse. Their offense is great, but
Yeah.
their defense isn't that good.
Mm-hmm.
I think now, injury-wise, Mostert's out for it says running a quarterback questionable. Blah, blah, blah. Is the only main player out for Miami. For the Niners, Samuel's questionable with a quad. Mitchell is out, the running
Right.
back.
Mitchell's out.
He's out.
McCaffrey's back
And
though.
McCaffrey's back. It says questionable with a knee, but he'll be back. So some could depend on Samuel. They still have George Kittle. They have Ayuk.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy G does enough. It could be a shootout. And you're right, in a shootout, I would probably take Miami. But I think San Francisco's defense is good enough to slow down Miami enough. I mean, I think it could be a 31-27 game, something like that. Somehow points will get put on the board from San Francisco. They may even score on defense. So I'm going to take the Niners across the board. The only thing that could change is I might get a little antsy and take Miami to cover, but I don't think so. I think I'm going to keep the Niners across the board. I'm going to try and not make a bunch of changes. Is what it amounts to. Though 2 of them last week worked out perfect. Other weeks we know that I've made 2 or 3 and they've all sucked. So it's the eye test is what I'm trying to kick in here. So that's another difference. So we've got 3 or 4 games. Well, we got 5 games, so there's some kind of a difference.
Yeah.
I'm
going for broke.
We're going for broke. Indy and Dallas, the spread, let me double check. It
10.
was 11.
I guess 10 now.
Is it 10 now? Why would that even move? Yeah, it is 10. Indy and Dallas, I'll change that to a 10. It's in Dallas. Indy plays hard. I think they're playing better under Jeff Saturday, but not enough. I think it's really going to be tough for them to score. Jonathan Taylor will have to have a great day.
Right.
But Ryan will still have to have a good day passing. And I don't quite think they have enough weapons to keep up with Dallas. Now, the Cowboys do have some people missing.
Diggs is questionable on
Diggs
defense.
is questionable. Lawrence is questionable with a foot injury. Michael Gallup is questionable with an illness. So I expect Gallup to play unless it's a serious illness,
right?
Obviously. So I think Dallas has too much. I really do. I think Parsons is going to spend some time in the backfield, getting acquainted and almost dating Matt Ryan. I think they're going to have a commitment. They'll spend so much time with each other.
Yeah.
And even if Lawrence doesn't play, unless something happens and Parsons gets dinged up or hurt, I think that Dallas's defense is too much, and their offense is actually way too much, I think, for the Colts. Colts defense really misses Shaq Leonard.
Yeah, there's no doubt Dallas wins this game. But 10 points is a lot because
it is.
Defense isn't bad.
It is. So you think they'll cover?
And if they could run the ball. So I will get the Cowboys to win, but I'll take the +10.
Okay. There you go. And last but not least, on Monday Night Football, the Dallas game is a Sunday night football game, is New Orleans and Tampa Bay. Again, not 2 great teams, but it could be an entertaining game. At the moment,
could be a playoff game. I mean, that division might win the division with a losing record.
True. Right now, Tampa Bay is leading the division at 5-6, I believe it is. So, 3.5 points, 3.5 points is what Tampa Bay is getting. It was 4 the other day, so that's changed.
They're giving.
Well, they're giving, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So for now, boy, I really hesitate. For now, I took New Orleans.
Okay.
I think their defense is better than Tampa Bay's defense, and I think this is going to be a defensive game. Both teams obviously are playing for a chance to win the division because the division's terrible. I would be surprised. Run! Oh, there's a face mask there. Did they see it? I don't think they saw it. We're still tied at 7-7 with almost 11 minutes left in the second quarter. A game that could decide whether TCU stays in the top 4 in the college football playoffs.
Right.
That's part of the reason I'm covering this. We're a sports show, and that's a big sports event right now. I took New Orleans. I think, now I will say, though, that might change, and I'll tell you why. Alvin Kamara it's undisclosed the reason, but he is questionable. I think if Alvin Kamara is out, I will probably switch to Tampa Bay.
All right.
Across the board.
I don't think it matters because Tom Terrific playing on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, good call there.
I don't see it, them losing.
Yeah.
So I'll take Tampa and give the points.
Okay.
Tampa across the board for me.
There you go. So we have probably a 7 or 8 games
We got
difference.
a
This could be
lot.
a do or die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games difference, buddy.
We'll probably split.
Between spread and straight. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll probably split them. One of us will win 4, the other will win 3 or something like that. Yeah. Well, did they just score? Yes, they did. Kansas State just scores. And but that was a weird line. They were originally picked to lose by 3, then it went to 2. Before kickoff, Kansas State became a 1-point favorite.
Wow.
Don't know why, and nobody was able to explain why. But Howard, the quarterback, just scored on a keeper, and they lead 14-7 now with TCU with a little over 10 minutes left in the second quarter.
Wow.
They led last time by about 18 points and then lost it. So I think this is going to be back and forth. And I think if it's close, I think TCU still keeps that number 4 spot. Or maybe even a 3 spot, since Ohio State's going to sneak in with a loss as well. Right. And their loss was a thumping at the hands of Michigan at home. So that does it for the NFL picks, Bill. And unless you have something else, I think we're about ready to move on. There is a bunch of conference championship college football games today. If anybody is inclined to watch that, this is probably the only game I'm necessarily overly interested in, though there are a couple other good ones on the list that could be good games. A lot of good games in the NFL starting back up tomorrow could be pretty interesting. And we're getting to the point now where some of these teams need to start winning now where they're out. Right. Green Bay, I think they're out anyway. They may be done, but I think one more loss and they're done. Tampa Bay, New Orleans is interesting because even though both teams are below 500, that could make or break a division playoff spot. I think the Chargers have to win.
Yeah.
The Bengals and Kansas City are neck and neck as far as like seeding. If Cincinnati wins, it puts Buffalo back in the hunt for top seed in the AFC. They looked pretty good the other night, but they weren't playing anybody with an offense. So it's going to be interesting. We're starting to get to the nitty gritty, Bill.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting and exciting.
The way you said that, though, and exciting, and exciting. Again. Again. So
the Bears.
The Bears. The Bears.
Yeah.
So, all right, buddy.
All right, my friend.
All right, let's get out of here. Enjoy the games tomorrow or any college games you're watching today. Any sports news, any comments, please let us know at either here online with YouTube or Facebook or anywhere you get your podcasts. Or you could email us at thepublicjohn@outlook.com. For Gizmo and my pal Billy Smith and everybody else here at Public John Media, as well as Dennis and the crew, Dennis and Graldi, the crew at Vinyl Royalty Corporation, for sponsoring us. Thank you guys. Have yourselves a great week, and we will be back next week.
Sounds good. Enjoy,
All right,
guys.
Tom. Enjoy the games, everybody.